What's up gamers, DreamcastGuy here, talking today about Shenmue III. This is a project that I'm very personally invested in. I mean, I actually put $200 during the Kickstarter 2 years ago, and I'm still following its development very closely. And today, we finally got an actual teaser trailer for the game, and it looks amazing to me. There are a lot of problems with the facial animations, and the eyes basically look like creepy puppets, but it's still a while from launch, so I remain hopeful. I went to Twitter to talk about this, and I noticed that many people are actually just saying, who even cares about Shenmue? Why does anybody still believe in this franchise? So I actually want to reply to that. Let me tell you why so many people like me are so invested personally in seeing this series get continued. We love this game. To many of us, this is the Legend of Zelda of Sega games. It's the first open world game that I ever played, like truly open world. When you play the original Shenmue, you're not the hero so much as you're a character. You're one person in this giant city trying to follow out his own epic quest. His father's killed and he wants revenge, but how you do this requires you to ask questions, beat some faces, and occasionally just go to an arcade and have fun. This was something I'd never experienced before. It was so cool getting to figure out stuff on my own, following clues. There was branching paths. There wasn't just one way to solve a problem. In fact, there were often multiple solutions to every situation. It was amazing to see that. If I needed money for a job or something, I could actually go down to the docks and try and get some answers and maybe do a side mission there, or I could try playing the lottery. There was always 2 or 3 branching paths to every single situation I ran into. On top of that, let's not ignore the fact that the fighting was really cool. It was all based on the combat of Virtual Fighter. So, in fact, what a lot of people don't know is that originally this was going to be called Virtual Fighter RPG, and that's why a lot of the character models definitely share a lot of similarities. But having that, this really in-depth simulation-style combat is really fitting for this world that seems so alive. Having to actually go to a park in between missions and practice your kung fu, learn new skills, figure out the way of the warrior with Ryo is so cool, and it made me even more in love with this world. I got so obsessed with trying to find every single collectible and special move in the game that I actually had to buy the strategy guide just because I wanted to see what I missed. Do you see all these lists? These are people living their own lives. When you want to do stuff in Shenmue, you can't exactly just go there at 3 a.m. You have a watch. You have to keep track of what they're doing and go when they're available. If you need to question a shop owner, you need to go there during shop hours. It's a game that requires you to play by its terms, and I like that. It felt even more real. What's truly important, and I think the reason people are so absolutely obsessed with Shenmue to this day, isn't about the gameplay. It's not about all the cool world building. It's just the fact that that story was so tremendous. Ryo, he has such an awful thing happen to him. His father is murdered right in front of him, but not by a monster or some mythological figure. By a normal human, a man named Lan Di. Somebody that seems like he'd be so easy to find. He's so peculiar in his behavior, and look at these strange clothes. It seems like you should be able to find him, and he's just not there. He's always a little bit out of reach. Throughout the first 2 games, which you see here behind me, you seem like he's always going to be there. Every single clue keeps you right on his trail. You know, okay, he's going to the city. Let's go there. All right, here's some of his contacts. Here's some of his minions, but he's already moved on. There's this hunger to find out how this story could end. Will Ryo die? Will he get his revenge? Will he kill Lan Di? I mean, Ryo is still a really young guy. When I first played this game, I was 15 years old, and now, well, I'm over double that now, but Ryo is still that kid. I want to know how this ends. Honestly, the only letter I've ever handwritten in the last 20 years was to Sega. This is absolutely true, but in 2006, I wrote a letter and mailed it. Oh, I'm so embarrassed to even admit this. I mailed them a letter to Japan, to their headquarters. I'm sure they couldn't even read it. My handwriting is so bad, but I begged them to write a book of Shenmue 3. Because at this time, it looked like we would never, ever see this project come to fruition. I just wanted to know so badly how this tale would end, and now it looks like we're going to get that conclusion. Shenmue 3 is probably having some problems. I mean, looking at those character models, stuff is a little bit strange, but I'm okay with that. I just want a conclusion to the story I grew up with. It's like you were told a fairy tale as a little kid, but it never had an ending. You kept hearing about these magical characters and their cool journey, but there wasn't a true ending. And now, there could be. Very soon, we will actually have an ending to Shenmue. This saga will have a conclusion, and the trilogy will be complete. And even if the game is total trash, I'll just be happy that it exists. When I review it, I will be honest and fair. If it's bad, I'm going to give it a bad score, but I'm still just elated that it will be in my hands, that I'll get to play it. Since I put $200 into the Kickstarter, I'm going to get a physical version, and to put it on my shelf next to all the other versions of the game is such an honor. I've imported every single version of every one of the Shenmue games, from the Japanese version to the US version to the super rare European Dreamcast version of Shenmue 2. I just had to have it all because this is my Zelda. Hopefully this shines some light on the overwhelming passion that people have for this series, because even now, there are people buying $500 figurines of Ryo Hazuki, or still talking about what Lan Di's motivations are, and I'm right there along with them. I go to Shenmue Dojo, I go to the Shenmue fan sites, I want to know what the heck is possibly going to go on here. Have you ever been that big of a fan of a single series, and what was it? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this rant, please give it a thumbs up, share with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. But do me the biggest favor of all and keep dreaming. You know what I always thought was funny is this. If you get the Xbox version of Shenmue 2, it says only on Xbox, just because the other versions of it were so rare. So it's like, huh, for a game that's only on Xbox, it sure is on a lot of other consoles. Or one other console. Oh, hi. I'm just working on the next video. If you want to see what it is, go ahead and click this button and you can subscribe. Also, if you click these video links, you can see my latest review and my latest top 10. Now I'm just going to sit here for a minute and wait for you to subscribe. Oh, I guess I could put on these giant glasses. I literally found these on a roller coaster.